What's going on? My name is TJ Jones, and this is the State of the Saints podcast, where we break down every single Saints matchup throughout the 2018 season. Well, week 5 is in the books. The New Orleans Saints took on the Washington Redskins, and that, my friends, was a good old fashioned butt whooping. The New Orleans Saints knock off the Washington Redskins by a score of 43-19. And I know a lot of people, we are focusing more so on what happened during the game, more so than the game itself. I'm talking about Drew Brees becoming the NFL's all-time leading passer. Drew Brees is now the NFL passing king. He passed Peyton Manning to be the all-time leading passer. So congratulations to Drew Brees. And I did do a podcast focusing on Drew Brees' record and the lack of respect that he is getting from the national media. So I want you all to check that out. But let's go ahead and focus on this game. The New Orleans Saints took on the Washington Redskins inside the Superdome on Monday Night Football, prime time. The world was watching, and they watched the New Orleans Saints show the world that they are for real. Now, I know a lot of people for the last couple weeks, they've been talking about the Saints defense and talking about how the secondary need to step up and how people are just going up and down the field on the Saints. None of that happened on Monday night. The New Orleans Saints dominated the Washington Redskins from start to finish. This score was 43-19, but it wasn't even really that close. The Washington Redskins got a touchdown during garbage time. The Saints defense looked real good, especially the guys up front. I mean, Taylor Stallworth and Sheldon Rankins, I mean, these two guys right here, they're defensive tackles. I mean, they was handling business, man. You could not run on these Saints, man. Sheldon Rankins had a sack. I seen Taylor Stallworth had a few tackles. And Marcus Davenport, the rookie out of UTSA, the one that the Saints gambled on, giving up their first-round draft pick for next year. This guy had a coming-out party. I mean, he had a tackle for loss. Man, he lowered the boom down on Alex Smith. And not to mention, man, he forced a turnover, man. He forced a fumble. So this was definitely one of his best games. And I'm excited because we didn't have the same cast of characters or the usual suspects that we have performing well. I mean, it was the new New Orleans Saints. I'm talking about the Cam Meredith, the Traquan Smith, who stepped in for an injured Ted Ginn Jr., and he caught the touchdown pass that broke the record for Drew Brees. When you're looking at guys like this, you have to be optimistic as a Saints fan because these guys are stepping up. It seems like they're familiarizing themselves with the offense, and it seems like the light is coming on for them. And you have to be happy about that if you are a New Orleans Saints fan. We also seen the return of Mark Ingram. He had 2 touchdowns in the game. He was coming off a 4-game suspension, and you know he was chomping at the bit. And I said in the predictions, man, I said I hope that Mark Ingram doesn't get too excited because when he usually gets excited, he fumbles the football. And he did fumble the football, but he got it back, man. But Mark Ingram, he plays with so much passion. I said on Twitter, and you can follow me at State of the Saints podcast on Twitter. I said that Mark Ingram is the Draymond Green of the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he is the heart and soul. Basically, man, he's the blood that pumps through the veins of the New Orleans Saints. This seems like something was missing, and when he came back in, it seems like that missing piece was finally connected, man. So shouts out to Mark Ingram, man. He had an outstanding game. And shouts out to some of those rookies, the Traquan Smiths, and some of the newer Saints, the Cam Meredith. I mean, you had a lot of new guys out there that was making plays, and I was really excited about it. We also seen Marshawn Lattimore. He left the game with a concussion, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only Saints fan, but I got a little nervous. I was like, man, that's the best cornerback we got on the team. What are they going to do? And they stepped up, man. Justin Hardy, a special team specialist, came into the game, and not only did he play respectable at corner, he caught an interception, and he almost had a pick 6. Hey, I'm gonna just say this, man. Demario Davis, hey, you gotta turn around and throw a block, man. And I feel like if Demario Davis, instead of him running on the side of Justin Hardy, if he would have just turned around and threw a block, Justin Hardy probably would have got into the end zone, and that probably would have made his cornerback debut in the regular season a very, very special one. Even though I know he was happy that he got a turnover in the game on the biggest stage on Monday Night Football, you got to be encouraged at what you're seeing by the Saints defense. Now, the Saints are 4-1. They're going into the bye week, and they're going up against the Baltimore Ravens when they come back. And this is a team that Sean Payton and Drew Brees has never beaten. That's right. The Baltimore Ravens is the only team in the National Football League that Sean Payton and Drew Brees never beat. So I'm interested to see how they're going to pan out. Drew Brees has 499 career touchdowns. A lot of people thought he was going to break that record last night too, but let it go another week. we don't need to see him break every record. I mean, hold that off to the next game when they play the Baltimore Ravens. It'll just be as special as if he would have broken on Monday night. But I'm going to say this. A couple things that we need to recognize as fans, and I'm not even just saying this because I'm a homer. I'm saying this because it's true. Drew Brees should be the front runner for NFL MVP right now. And I know everybody is going crazy about Patrick Mahomes. Oh my goodness, he got the big arm. Oh, he threw the ball, he switched hands and threw it on Monday Night Football. Oh my God, Patrick Mahomes. Look, the guy is really, really good. He's legit. The young man is handing up on his business. But Drew Brees is playing at a high level. He's completing almost 80% of his passes. He has 11 touchdowns without 0 interceptions, and he has 2 rushing touchdowns. So right now, Drew Brees has 13 total touchdowns without a single interception and over 1,600 yards passing. So when you break that down, I think Patrick Mahomes has like 1,400. I mean, he turned the ball over twice last week. We got to pay attention to that. And we can't let the media put him to sleep, man. I am on a personal crusade to make sure that Drew Brees becomes league MVP, period. He's handling up on his business, and it doesn't seem like the media wants him to have it. And it seems like this happens year after year. Every time Drew Brees has a great season, an MVP-worthy season, there's always somebody that always gets in the news and basically blocks the greatness of Drew Brees. And me, I'm not going to take it no more. So this is what we need to do. We need to publicize Drew Brees' accomplishments as fans, because it doesn't seem like the national media wants to give him his respect. Drew Brees has not turned the ball over in 5 games. He is playing at the highest level that he probably has ever played throughout his career. And they need to recognize that. So if you want to talk about Patrick Mahomes, and he deserves to be talked about, you need to be talking about Drew Brees as well, because the world just watched this man go 26 for 29 for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns and a blowout. And not only was it a blowout, he didn't even use Michael Thomas that much, Alvin Kamara that much. He didn't even use Ben Watson that much. He used some rookies and some first-year players to get the job done. So that's what we're trying to do, trying to make Drew Brees MVP. And now, lastly, I want to talk about the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins, man, I thought they was going to do something, man. They're in the NFC East. That division is wide open. We all know about that. But let's address this elephant in the room. Jay Gruden needs to be fired. He needs to go, because they had 2 weeks to prepare for the Saints. When you have 2 weeks to prepare for a team, that means you have 2 games to analyze. So you had the scheme that they played against the Falcons and the scheme that they played against the Giants. So you could have put all those plays together and come up with a game plan that could have made this game competitive, and they didn't. And you have to blame the coach for that. I mean, this has been a mediocre team for some years now, man. And Jay Gruden seems like he is the guy who needs to be signaled out. I would not be surprised if this is the last season for Jay Gruden as the head coach of the Washington Redskins. It's a tough time to be a Gruden. Between Jay Gruden and John Gruden, I mean, woo, man, some tough stuff right there, man. I wouldn't want to be around that dinner table right now. But this has been the State of the Saints podcast. Follow the State of the Saints podcast on Facebook. Yes, we have an official State of the Saints podcast Facebook page. So check that out. All you have to do is go to facebook.com, search State of the Saints podcast. Also, subscribe to the State of the Saints podcast on YouTube. Yes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Search State of the Saints podcast. You can check out the previous episodes. We have been doing this ever since week 1. And on Twitter, you can follow us at State of the Saints podcast. Till next time.